Well, it is one of the most addictive drugs. Over the last month, law enforcement officers in our area say they've seen an increase in arrests connected to meth. Holly Emery joins us in the studio now with more on the crisis. Holly.
Andrea, when I stopped by the Lowndes County Narcotics office today, officers showed me more than 30 grams of meth they confiscated just this week. With methamphetamines being more common in the area, the people who work to keep drugs off the streets want to make sure that you know the dangers of the highly addictive drug.
There is nothing natural about methamphetamine. It'll take you places that you wouldn't normally go.
Kevin Forrester is a lieutenant with the Lowndes County Narcotics Task Force. After working with narcotics for 12 years, he says seeing the consequences of meth are heartbreaking.
No matter the location, no matter the person, the conditions are much the same every time. Whenever you start losing your job and losing your family support, the next step is you're going to start stealing things because you're chasing that addiction, and it's going to take you to the lowest points that you've ever been.
KATRINA DENDTY is a therapist at Recovery House in Columbus. She says because of meth's chemical makeup, it's more addictive than other uppers out there.
So our brain has dopamine in it, and when you use meth, it depletes the dopamine that we already have. And so the more you use meth, the more dopamine that it creates. And so we have to use more and more meth to get that dopamine effect.
Catherine Lucas is a recovered addict and has been sober for 7.5 years. She says when people use meth, all caution is thrown into the wind.
Once they get that euphoric feeling from doing it, it takes over something in the brain to where you just want to keep that high. People lose themselves completely and will do whatever it takes to keep that feeling, whether that's robbing from their family or breaking the law.
Therapists and recovering addicts say while the journey to sobriety is extremely difficult for meth addicts, the feeling of overcoming addiction is extremely rewarding and empowering.
It's not fun being in treatment at all, but they go through a lot of transformations between the therapy that they get and all the groups that they get. Physically, they look better. They get color back into them. They get all the emotional stuff out.
When that person goes through recovery and they're able to look back, then they see all the warning signs that were there.
In Lowndes County, Holly Emery, WCBI News. Lieutenant Forrester added that only 7% of meth addicts get sober and recover. For anyone that is looking to recover from drug addiction, helpful contact information will be on WCBI.com.